Hello Virgo, it is time for your December reading, and today I'll be using one of my newer decks, the Wildwood Tarot. This particular deck, I've already drawn your cards, but this particular deck is built around the Wheel of the Year. I don't know if you can see that very well, but at some points I will be referring to the book because I don't know this deck as well. And so I will run through the cards, and I'm just going to have the book at hand here just so I can verify if it is earth, water, air, or fire, as the names are a little bit different, but you'll see that along the way. I also have the deck set by in case we need to clarify, and I'll go ahead and jump in. We start off with the Two of Vessels, and in this, vessels are water. We have the Eight of Bows, bows being fire. We have the Page of Stones, or the length, which is, stones are earth or pentacles. We have the Four of Arrows, which is air. We have the Knight of Stones, which is again pentacles. We have the Two of Arrows, which is injustice. And arrows again are air. We have the Eight of Vessels, which is rebirth and cups. We have the Four of Stones, which is earth and protection. We have the Queen of Bows, which is the hair and also air in the air. Sorry, I absolutely love puns and rhymes. And anyways, we also have the Knight of Bows, and again, bows are fire. I'm just gonna set the book aside and get into the reading. I've got some sounds on in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. From the Two of Vessels, which is cups, we have attraction, which is very similar to the Lovers, and it shows two a woodland. They're like humanoid bodies, but animal heads. And they're pouring water into cups from each of them, and they have clasped hands and a heart on fire behind them. So this does speak to love and passion. We also have, hold on, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. There we go. I felt like that was a little bit too loud. We have the Eight of Bows, which is hearth fire. And that shows a family gathered around, and bows are fire. But you can see they're raising a cup here in the background, so it's definitely speaking to home life and kind of the safe space that's referenced in that. It's even, you can see everyone's kind of gathered around it is a hearth fire. But it's not just the hearth fire, but the family, a symbol of home and family. We then have the Page of Stones, which is the lynx. And this is earth, but the lynx is also a shy animal, and they're not really, I wouldn't say they're not common. I feel like they're not commonly seen. So it's more so the aspects of this home life and this attraction, the draw there, that aren't so noticeable to other people. We also have the Four of Arrows, which is rest. And we have that butterfly there, which is beautiful. It's often like a totem or like a spirit guide in that sense. And the interesting thing about this is, although there are 4 arrows in the ground as though this person is being pursued and shot at, none of them have hit their target. And there's a person there just laying at rest, but not dead. And you can actually see, like, there's frays on the bottom of their pant legs. I don't know if you can see it, but their garments are kind of worn, and so they are in need of rest. This is really speaking about the draw of home and heart, and the companionship of family around the hearth fire and the restoration that comes from that unseen time. What maybe the world doesn't see, what's kind of shied away from everyone else. We also have the Knight of Stones, which is again earth, and the horse, and we can see there's a lot of movement here. And the horse is a means of travel. And with the Knight, there is a lot of implied movement, not just because the horse is a means of travel, but just generally within that, the Knights, whichever house they're, not house, but if it's earth or water or air or fire, when there's a Knight there, there's still a lot of implied movement, no matter what suit it is. And there's almost like a swampland in the background and mountains. So it's like there's been a long journey, and this is what you're coming back to rest from, and finding the opportunity and the space to rest with that attraction, that calm, that hiddenness, and the comfort of the hearth fire. We have the Two of Arrows, which is injustice, not justice, but injustice. Something is not fair, and we see justice blindfolded and the scales are balanced. So this almost looks like a Libra kind of energy, but there's also this little gargoyle looking figure there in the middle, and it's like something isn't quite fair. She actually has her foot on top of the bow, so even though there are arrows there, it's not really being utilized. And it seems like this is almost the way that it shows up in the reading, so that the horse is almost carrying you away from this injustice back towards the hearth fire. So it's almost like this story operates in reverse. We have the Eight of Vessels, which is rebirth, and you can see that all the sources are flowing together. All the water is flowing together from one vessel to another. We then go to the Four of Stones, which is protection, and there's some different symbols on the stones here, but you can also see that it's formed a shelter, and there's a fawn there resting. So it speaks to an energy that isn't fully developed yet, but is still being protected by the earth, by the groundedness. And I feel like that really ties back to the length card here, where it's kind of hidden and protected. We then have the Queen of Bows, which is the hare, and you can also see that he looks kind of ready to run. And when you think of a hare, they are fast moving, but we also see kind of this ominous shape in the background, which reminds me of a tower. It is a very unnatural tower, but it's like the Queen of Bows would be fire, so it is a strong feminine energy, but it's like there is that something is in the shadow, something is in the background, and there's a story there that we haven't really gotten into, but it seems like the movement is away from that aspect, that overshadowing. We then have the Knight of Bows, which is the fox. So we have the Queen of Bows and the Knight of Bows. We also have the Knight of Stones. So we have that rapid energy. And again, the fox is another animal that is very shy. So we've got the lynx and the fox, which are very shy, and then we have a lot of movement here. So there's something that's hidden. There's something kind of ominous in the background, and I'm actually going to clarify what's going on in the background, what we are seeing with the Queen of Bows and with the hare, that tower looking moment in the background. So I actually got out a couple of cards. We have the King of Arrows, which is air, the Kingfisher. So it's a logical energy. It's a mental process. And the kingfisher, actually, I want to say it's one of those, it's a bird that can fly over water and kind of from a high altitude, and then they can see their prey under the surface and dive through the water and catch the fish. So there's something, the energy that we're seeing in the background, it is very much an energy, a strong masculine energy that is kind of almost viewing this situation as you being vulnerable or there being prey there. And we have the wanderer, which is like the fool energy. So this is a new part of the journey. So it's like you're starting a new journey and someone is viewing you as prey. And it's funny that I said the journey, a new journey, because I didn't even look at the next card, which is the journey. So we have the fool, the wanderer, which is the fool, and the journey. And this is kind of what I'm seeing. I don't know if you can see that. So it starts with the kingfisher, the wanderer, and then the journey. So it's like as you start this journey, and it's like I'm reading your story, even though it came out going this way, I'm kind of reading it backwards, because it's like you're on this journey to go home to Hearthfire, to your destination, and in this part of your story. And there's someone who views you as vulnerable and thinks that they can prey on you, that they will be able to pick over you while you're on this journey. And that's not the case. There are some things about this that aren't fair, that are unjust, but ultimately you are protected. And there's a lot of movement here, but you still have rest. So I also don't think that means that you should wander on carelessly or really take this journey on as though you are the fool. I think you definitely have to be cautious, and I mean that's being grounded. That's more of the lynx energy, the fox energy, being cunning like a fox, being you are visible. You may be seen, but you're very quick on your feet, and you can hide, you can escape this. I just kind of was shuffling a little bit just as I had the impression to, and we got the 6 of vessels, which is reunion. And you can actually see that there's 2 otters over here. And again, they are also kind of, tricksters, I want to say a little bit. Like, if you, not just in the way that they are, but they're very it's a playful energy. So it's like, you don't have to be anxious. And actually, now that I think of it, the lynx is more the most cautious, I would say. But when you see like videos of foxes in the wild and stuff like that, or even when they're kept as pets, they're very playful. So don't let this overshadowing, ominous energy in the background keep you from playing, from really living and experiencing things, because ultimately you are protected. There is rest on your journey, and you are going home to Hearthfire. Virgo, I hope this was very helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful month of December.